Good morning. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Jessica Pierce, and I am the CEO and founder of Career Connectors. And we have been doing this panel, my gosh, for a long time now, probably 10 years or so. But we used to do a version of it in person, and now we're virtual for most of our events. And so it's one of our highest requested events. So we do it a couple times every single year. And so today we mixed it up a little bit. We have some new questions. We have some current trends that are happening that I'm going to be asking our experts about. So I'm so glad you all are here. And one of the things, if you have not done yet, introduce yourself. Please do. Go jump over to the chat. Good morning, Judy. Hello, Melody. We have some of you introducing yourself. Hello, hello. Lene, Deanna, Teresa. If you all could jump over to the chat, introduce yourself. We'll see your name and where are you calling us from. And then just mention what industry you are interested in working in. We're going to be using this chat a lot today. We have some questions for you that we're going to go ahead and ask, and we're going to ask you to drop your answers in the chat. And so make sure that's up and ready because we want to hear everyone's responses on the chat. You will be muted during the call today, the first part of it, so that we can really focus on our experts speaking and the panelists. But then there's more. At the end, towards the end, at around 10:30 Pacific Standard Time, we will open up the call to our breakout sessions. And that's where all of our speakers here will also be able to talk to you one-on-one. We also have some amazing volunteers that'll be here and joining us as well. And so a little bit about Career Connectors. We are a nonprofit organization based in Arizona, but we serve nationally. And we're all about helping you be prepared and get ready for your next job, whether that is you're currently looking or something you're kind of just searching for possibly searching for right now. And so we do this through empowering. I like to use the analogy of my friend Christy, who says, you can hire a trainer, you can hire someone to help you do the work, but when it comes down to it, you've got to do the push-ups. And so we're here to provide you the guidance, help you take the next steps, but you've got to take those steps and make it happen. And so that's what we are all about at Career Connectors, and connection, obviously, which is why we encourage everyone to use the chat as much as possible so that you can engage with people. And that chat button is on the bottom of your screen. If you're on a computer or a laptop, the very bottom, there's a chat icon. Click on that, and this will pop up. The chat will pop up. Otherwise, if you're on a phone, sometimes it says more and there's a drop down, and you can by like the three dots, and you can drop down and see a chat there. So either way, make sure you're chatting and today, after we get through this initial presentation part, we're going to move into the panel, and the four of us will be on your screen, so you'll be able to see us as we're talking. So closed captioning is available at the bottom of your screen. Just hit closed captioning. Sometimes it's under the more option, and you'll be able to see the closed captioning for the event. And so here's what we have. We are doing red hot resumes this morning. We have some hot button items. Is that how you say it? That's the wrong word, but hot topics today that we're going to jump into. And I always love these because our resume writers, they're professionals, certified, they've been doing this a long time, but even they don't always agree. And so I love to hear the different perspectives, even though sometimes that probably feels frustrating to a lot of us when we ask somebody for guidance on our resume and we hear different things all the time. So we're going to touch on that as well. And then we're going to jump into LinkedIn. We're going to talk about some of the best practices around LinkedIn. I will close it out about 10:20, and then we will go into our breakout sessions. All right. So before we get started, I'm going to ask in the chat. Let's see how many of you have updated your resume in the last 3 months. Drop a 1. If you have updated your resume in the last 3 months. And see what we got here. If you are just either starting or you haven't done an resume update, drop a 2. And you're kind of here to, what are we going to do? What are we going to say? Okay. So most people, it looks like, yep, everyone's updated their resume. And then you're like, so why are we here? Well, we're here because either you're not getting the hits, you know that it's not quite working, and we have the experts that are going to tell you how to do it. So that's why we are here today. So if we can go ahead and let's pin our panelists as I introduce them. Um, we have Donna Tucker. Hello, Donna. We have Gabrielle Suttis. Hello, Gabrielle. And we have Krista Morris. And there we go. And then I am going to pin. All right. So you should be seeing the four of us on your screen right now. Hi, ladies. You can unmute and say hello. What I'm going to do is
Hello.
hello, hello, hello. What I'm going to ask you to do to start with is tell us a little bit, take a minute or two, and just tell us a little bit about yourself and basically why you. Why are you here today?
Me first?
You go.
Age before beauty, right? I'm Donna Tucker with Career Pro Resume Center, and I have been in the career services business writing resumes for more than 20 years. And that is my first tip of the day. Never use a number bigger than 20 when you're talking about your experience. It ends up branding your age rather than your value.
Mm,
I am a certified professional resume writer and a nationally certified online profile expert, which means LinkedIn. And I think I've been one of the oldest, well, oldest in both ways, volunteers with Career Connectors right from the beginning almost.
that's right. I think you are our longest running volunteer.
What a what a deal. You are so lucky to have me, aren't you?
I know.
I'm
Thank,
very happy to be here. I love doing this.
thank you, Donna. All right, Krista, tell us a little bit about you.
Thanks for having me. I'm Krista Morris. I started Virtuoso Resumes back in 2011 when I couldn't go back to work. This is a common story. Had a really sick kid. And there was no daycare in the world that would have taken my son. They would have just shipped him right back out. So I started this after a career in social work. And what I love to do is getting stories out of people because often they don't have any idea what they've done. And through the power of conversation, we can really dig into what they've done, their career, the things that make them a great professional. So I am certified. I'm a certified resume writer. I've been doing this by myself since 2011. I have mighty team of one. April is going to be helping in the chat today. And here's another tip. So if you don't put anything over 20 years on your resume, don't put any degree dates before the jobs that you have on your resume, if that makes sense. Not sure that came out the right way, but let the jobs drive whether or not you put your degree dates.
That's good. Thank you, April. Or April. You said April. I just saw April join.
Yes.
April is going to be chatting. She is a partner with Krista in their business. And so if you hear advice from April in the chat, it's thumbs up. Okay. All right. Thank you, Krista. All right, Gabrielle, welcome to the panel.
Hi, thank you. This is my first one. I'm really happy to be here. So I'm Gabrielle and with Go Getter Resumes. I've been writing resumes since 2018. I started my little business in Canada and have since transitioned into Phoenix, where I moved January 2025 last year. So before writing resumes, I was in HR as an in-house recruiter. I was the one to screen all the resumes and do the initial phone calls and pass everything on to the hiring managers. And I really remember feeling like my job would be so much easier if people knew how to write resumes. So that's kind of what pushed me towards doing this full time instead. I really like instead of picking one magical candidate, I can help way more people by just communicating what they bring to the table. And I
That's
guess
awesome.
my first tip for the day is to try to reframe how you think about your resume, that it's not actually about you, it's about your potential employer.
Yeah, I love that. And something you said about the recruitment side is so many people are like, how do I get around the recruiter? They're just hard. I don't want to talk to them. They're just blocking me. And what all the recruiters I know, if you're the right fit, they're your advocate. They actually want to hire somebody to get
Yes,
that off their plate. So,
desperately.
and so the resumes, if they're coming in and they're matching, they want to hire you. So I always say, treat your recruiters really, really, really well. They're your advocates. Okay, all right, you guys. Today we're gonna jump into some hot topics right away. The biggest one on the table is AI. Okay, there are some incredible AI tools out there, but we know that, we're hearing a big number of job seekers are using AI tools to write their resumes. And so it's a great guide, a support. But at the same time, we're hearing a large amount of hiring managers can identify an AI resume and they're like, I don't even know if that person is worthy of talking to because is this even them? And so what's the line? What's the line? Is AI helpful or is it hurtful tool in your resume?
I think it depends on the candidate. Some people might be able to use it to come up with a pretty good resume, but use it as a tool as opposed to write me a resume for X
Yeah.
job. That will do you no favors at all. It'll be generic, boring, probably a bunch of lies. It's just going to spit something out that it thinks sounds good, and that's not authentically you.
I love that.
Well, we've all heard of garbage in, garbage out, and AI is a perfect example of that. You have to know what to put into to prompt AI to help you with your resume. If you don't give them good information, you're not going to get any good information back, a good resume back. But use AI. We all use AI to help guide us a little bit, to come up with ideas, to brainstorm, to better phrase things, to come up with some better verbs instead of saying managed 15 times on the resume, right? So it's very helpful, but don't let it do the whole thing. They're all going to sound the same and it's not going to be about you.
The problem I see is that when an applicant or candidate who's job seeking and they say, write me a resume, and you don't give it any boundaries and you don't put anything in, it will literally spit out exactly what it spit out for everybody else. And I heard something interesting the last couple of weeks ago, is that with large language models, it uses a foundation of sameness to drive the content. So if you don't give it new information, it is literally going to be the same bullets. And I saw something on LinkedIn where a recruiter got 2 literally identical resumes. I think Donna must have been in the same webinar. And it was word for word, the same resumes with different employer names. So that's the danger of using AI without putting in unique information, is the bullets will absolutely be the same. So if the bullet says something like, worked with stakeholders across the company, that can apply to sales, that can apply to marketing, that can apply to technology, that can apply to project management, that can apply to engineering, literally everything. So the content really needs to be distinctive in you. And if you don't put any distinctive you into AI when you're writing your resume, it will turn out garbage.
Yeah, so good. One of the things you said, Krista, when you were introducing yourself was you talk to people to get the best out of them. And Donna, I've worked with you on this. You're so good at this. And it's like, you keep drilling it down. You keep drilling down. Like, what do you mean by that? What did you do here? What did you do there? And to craft the real skills that people have. And what AI is doing is making those vanilla and generic or the same. And so that's why listening to the guidance of what you all have to say is so important, because you've got to get that uniqueness out in those real impact numbers. So thank you for saying that, Krista. Okay, let's talk about skills. Since I just mentioned skills, there's been a major shift. And actually, I just yesterday got a chance to be on Channel 15, and the topic was skills-based hiring versus degrees. And
Yeah.
so many companies are moving towards skills-based hiring. We've seen it with IBM, Google, Amazon, like huge companies are hiring based on skills, and degrees are secondary. Now, not in all jobs. That's not true for everything. Obviously, some degrees are required for some skill sets. So can you guys talk to this? What matters when it comes to skills? How do you really feature your skills in this environment?
The question is, what did your skills do? And what was the outcome of those skills? So if you are an expert in Java coding, I want to know what you did and what you used Java for, and what was the program, and how many, the software and the application, and how many people did that reach, or how did that make the company's job better and easier? So the skill is always and should be couched within the deliverable. So it's not just a word.
That's
It's
right.
more than a word.
Good.
And be careful of keyword stuffing. Nobody wants to see a big paragraph just full of words. You've got to show that you can do the job and the value that you can bring with those skills, and not just list them on the resume. The other thing that people do, I've seen, is put them at the bottom in white so that they can't see them. And the human eye can't see them, but ATS can, and that's just a no-no. You get caught at that, and that's cheating.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like to include a quick list of the skills at the top that are most relevant for the job that you're applying for, so that the recruiter, the reader can quickly check off, yep, and then always provide the proof down in the employment section or wherever it's relevant where you developed and used those skills.
And match them to the job posting. So
Yes,
that's
always
when you
match the
tweak
job
your
posting.
resume every time, whatever maybe the top 5 keywords are they're looking for in the job posting. Those are the keywords that you'd want to highlight at the very top of the resume. But change them every time. One resume doesn't fit all job postings.
That's right. And I love that guidance about the not whiting out the whole bunch of keyword stuffing. That's the language. Because if it comes up, what happens, you guys, is if your resume comes up and that recruiter is looking for that skill, it's not on their resume, and then they're frustrated with you for even having to go to your resume. And so don't do it. Don't do it. Put it in the accomplishments if it's real. Okay, one more hot topic, and then we're going to dive into some of these. All right, so applicant tracking software. I always got to start with Donna when I go to this because this is her thing. But an applicant tracking software is what takes your resume in from a company and helps them match people to jobs. And so everyone always said, or many people are like, I put my resume in and I never hear anything back. So how do I get around the ATS? And so what are some common mistakes you see, Donna? Why aren't people getting through the ATS?
Because they aren't matching the job posting more than anything. They've got it's the robots are looking at it first. And one thing I hear a lot is that the resume is rejected by ATS. They're never really rejected. It's just that they're not scored as high as others. Mm-hmm. And when companies are getting over 200, and some of the tech firms are getting thousands of resumes today, they can't review each one individually. So they're scored according to keywords and the focus of the resume, that sort of thing. And that's what you're trying to do. So again, without keyword stuffing, you need to integrate the keywords on the job posting in your resume. And maybe say them in a different way a couple of times. You want them in your profile section, and then you want to prove them in your experience section.
I'm going to disagree with Donna. Donna and I do sometimes tend to have disagreements. Yeah. Okay. So all of the recruiters that I know do not use the filters in the ATSs. They use it basically as a workflow and a digital filing cabinet. So when you apply to a job online, it goes into the ATS because that enters you into the recruiter's workflow. They are still reviewing resumes manually by hand. Now, here's the thing, and why you may not hear is once they get to 20, 30 people that they want to pass to the hiring manager, why is there a need to look at the other 480? So it's possible that you didn't apply early enough. So in this weird job market that we're in, which definitely rivals 2008, it's really important that you get your resume in ASAP within 24 hours of that job going live, because we want to make sure that you get past influence the recruiter. So based on what I know, there's no robots. There is no evil robot. There's no evil AI overlord. In fact, Workday is currently being sued for using AI in their hiring practices. So a lot of recruiters are very risk averse to using any filters or AI in their recruiting practices.
But remember, it's not only recruiters that are using the applicant tracking software system. Some of the bigger companies have their own people, their own HR departments that review them. So
Oh, so you're saying like not everyone is an agency, but also people have on-staff recruitment. They do both. Krista, do you believe that on-site HR staff has the same process, or you think they still review? They review resumes until they don't need to anymore. And then everyone else gets auto rejected because they're done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they don't need to.
Okay. So a couple different ways maybe is happening with recruitment, but that's what you understand. And all my recruitment, when I do it the way you said, Krista. That's the way I recruit, but I recruit for smaller organizations. And so we want to look at all the resumes, not all until we have enough. And then we move on to, and sometimes it's interesting because recruiters don't always start at the beginning even. It might be where you popped up. And today they're starting to recruit after a week of posting. Are they going to start at number one they came in, or are they just going to start the current one? So yes, sometimes it's luck of the draw. Unfortunately, you guys, sometimes it's luck of the draw.
And sometimes it's simply Control F. So once they get in 200 resumes, they may Control F and look for JavaScript and filter through everybody who has the one skill that they need. So that is the other way that recruiters select. Gabrielle, you probably have things to say.
I'm nodding along. This was all my experience, yes. That I had access to view every single resume that came in, one-on-one. The closest thing to the auto reject that I had was like the disqualifying questions up front. So you could post a job and have a candidate answer these questions before they submit. And it would be something like X amount of years, or how many years experience do you have in X? And then if I need 7 years, I would say if they answer 7 or above, they get through. If they answer under 7, then it is auto rejected. But that's not the same as a black hole resume either.
Right.
That's right. Good point.
Yeah, and more the keywords come up when you're searching in the filing cabinet, the applicant tracking system. And that's where I would find the ranking too, which is not always accurate on the other side either, because different words mean different things and sometimes multiple things. So you still need that human going through it is still really valuable. There is a human on the other side, I think, is what is the most important thing to remember.
Yeah, and we're going to get to that, but connecting with people, this is why connection and networking is so important in this whole process. Let me ask you guys about functionally when someone is submitting their resume to an applicant, to an ATS, basically applying for a job, should they be formatting this in a Word doc, a PDF, or something else?
As instructed.
Mm.
The PDF is probably the best if there are no instructions, but they'll tell you how they want it.
Did you say PDF is probably the best if there are no instructions? Okay.
Yes, because they can't fiddle with it. They can't fool with it. It doesn't change the formatting. I know sometimes if I try to open a Google Doc in a Microsoft Word, it changes the format, and vice versa. If somebody tries to open a Microsoft Word doc in Google Docs, it messes up the format. So PDF is safe if they don't give you other instructions.
What does the ATS do to the resume? When we submit it in, Does it break it down? What does it do?
It parses the content, so it pulls out the text and leaves all of the lines and pretty things behind. Um, it looks for specific headlines or headers like the employment experience, education, and then it populates the following content into the background of the ATS so that it's scannable that way. So the
That's
content is what matters.
Yeah,
But
and the formatting matters in that it doesn't read things that are in the formal headers. So make sure that all your contact information is part of the actual document on the first page. It has trouble. It doesn't read in text boxes. It doesn't read charts, graphs, graphics.
it sometimes gets confused by columns.
Oh yes,
And
columns. Stay away from
yeah,
those columns.
yeah, it definitely gets confused by columns. So what I've started doing is putting in the key skills, a line or two of key skills underneath each job, so that when it populates into the ATS job by job by job under professional history, it pulls in the key skills. So the format, I've started mimicking how LinkedIn has, you can list 5 skills underneath each job.
Yeah.
That's how I've started writing many of the resumes.
Okay,
That-
can
I
you
like
guys
that.
hear me? I went out and I'm back.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, thank you guys for keeping talking on that. I'm trying to get back on my computer, but I'm on my phone right now. So, okay, we're going to move over to content. So let's talk about, and I still see this sometimes, but let's talk about summary versus objective. Which is right, and what does it even mean?
well, I'd like to take that in that I don't even believe in a summary as an entity. I would rather have you call it a profile. To me, summary means you're summarizing the whole rest of the resume. Here's all the stuff I've done. And the purpose of that top section of the resume is to sell yourself, to get them to read the whole thing, to demonstrate your value. And a summary, it doesn't always do that, but a profile says, here's who I am and here's what I'm offering you. No objective, no. They don't care what you want. And the old objective
Right.
used to be, I am looking for a position as a project management in the field of construction and where I can grow and, they don't care what you want. It's all about them.
I can't believe we're still having this conversation about
Yeah.
objectives versus
Yeah,
summaries.
after what, 25 years now?
Yeah, that's like so very 19 something.
But that's another thing about AI. Sometimes they'll write objectives for you if you say, write me a resume.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
seen that.
Okay, then go ahead, Gabrielle.
I lean towards what Donna said about making it a bigger, like you're painting a whole picture of your experience and your like your industry, what you've accomplished for other companies that is relevant to the one you're applying for. It also can be a good spot to like introduce something that's further down in the resume.
Yeah.
You can touch on that there so that it kind of plants a seed and your reader looks for that later on. That can help them get through the full document. But yeah, no objective. Like I said at the beginning, that it's not about you, it's about your employer or potential employer.
I can sum it up in 3 words. It's your hook.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, I think I'm back. Sorry about that, everyone. I don't know what happened. So, okay, now this is a really important one when it comes to content on your resume, accomplishments. Still, every single day, anytime any recruiter goes into their job, they are getting resumes that has a list of responsibilities that that person had when they were in their job. That gets you nowhere. What are accomplishments and how do you make really good ones for your resume? Who would like to start?
Well, I think,
Krista, get started.
well, I always start with what was the problem you were hired to solve. That is the number one question I ask when I'm working with a client. We need to know exactly why you were hired. We need to know what the biggest challenge was, and then we need to know what the outcome was. And for the rest of the accomplishments, you can think back on projects. You can think, what were my KPIs? If I was measured on revenue, I want to see revenue numbers. If you're measured on customer escalations, I want to know that. If it's project delivery, I want to know that. And another way that you can weave in some story into your resume is be sure to talk about the scope of your role so that we know how many people you managed, how wide was your cross-functional influence, how many plants there were, how many different departments or clients or accounts. I need to know the scope. The recruiter, not I, but the recruiter needs to know the scope of what you did.
I sum that up in my mind, at least, as context. They need to know the context of your role so that they can picture you in their context. I also try to phrase it as like, why was the company better off for you having done whatever your responsibility was? That's your lasting impact and why they needed you in that role and not somebody else.
So many job seekers have a hard time coming up with quantitative, measurable accomplishments. They said, well, I wasn't in sales, so I don't have any numbers. But as Krista said, even the number of people you work with, the number of people you train, the number of phone calls you took are numbers. And sometimes there are no numbers for things that are important. You can also list some qualitative accomplishments, like selected by leadership to lead the department's first cross-functional initiative. And then, of course, you'd want to go on and tell how well it went, but it isn't. Sometimes there aren't going to be numbers, but you can always come up with something if you try.
Yeah, and that's part of it goes back to the conversation piece. If you're not working, you can ask these ladies during the breakout session for some ideas on this and how to figure out what your best are. You can work with a resume writer, one that knows what they're talking about, and not that's going to take your resume and dump it into AI and give you a product. Like someone who's going to interview you and talk to you like these ladies. But you talk to people and to get your numbers. So often, I know when you guys have someone come in, a client, they're like, oh, I don't have any numbers. And you guys can dig and almost always get something to work with. So I love that about you guys. Okay, let's talk. A big topic on this is career changing. So how does somebody who is changing careers work their resume out so that they still look fairly qualified? And maybe it's just the skill is going into a new industry, but what do career changers do about resume content?
Transferable skills is the key there. And then when we were talking about that profile section at the top, talk about what's important to where you're going. A resume is not a history of your career. A resume is your sales pitch to the next position. So talk about what's important to the reader, not just what you've done and what happened at the last place, but what you can do for the future and how you can take the skills that you learned and make a difference in the new company.
Good. Gabrielle?
Thoughts
on that?
Similar, focus on the new job and like go through your experience and say what about my experience qualifies for me for this job, and then tell your reader why you're qualified. Because if they read a resume that's geared towards your past, they'll be like, why did this person apply? This is not relevant at all. This seems totally out to lunch. But if you can say, well, in this role, I did this, which is similar to this position that I'm applying for, you have to lay it out for them very obviously, and then they'll start to connect the dots and see the potential behind your application.
Another tip that I might add is if you're changing industries, to stay away from industry specific language in your experience section. If you're going from healthcare to Construction.
Finance, yeah, anything.
All right. You don't want to mention the hospitals and physicians and the words that are important to healthcare. It's the results, the fact that you can generate results.
Yes.
So I froze there for a second. We're talking about career changes.
Yep.
Okay. This is a great use case for AI. Here is where AI is
Yeah.
useful because here is where you can talk about here is my old job, here is the new job. What parts of those two jobs align and where is my experience transferable? Now, those recommendations are what you want to write about in your resume. Original writing, not AI writing, but this is exactly where this is one of the best use cases for AI.
Yeah.
And now that we're talking about career changers, that oftentimes means people that have been doing something for a while and they're ready to do something else. So I'm going to talk about the age question here. Donna, you mentioned it at the very beginning. Your tip was not over 20 years. When people say to us, I'm not getting hired because I'm too old or there's age discrimination, can you guys just talk about that topic and what are some tips to address that in the resume?
Make it irrelevant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make age solely irrelevant based on the strength of your experience so that it doesn't even enter into the discussion at all. You have to make sure that there is current and relevant technology listed because one of the biases is that people who are aging have trouble keeping up with new tech and new software and applications and AI and all that. So if you make it, have to address that elephant in the room and make it clear that you learn quickly and are capable of using new technology and maybe even rely on the new technology, that will go a long way to getting rid of that particular red flag waving in the wind. And the strength of your experience should make everything else irrelevant.
Mhm.
One thing Krista mentioned was that you learn quickly. So often I see that just written just like that. Quick learner. Don't tell me you're a quick learner. Show me you're a quick learner.
Mhm.
Show me something that you did that's new and inventive and that you have new ideas and that you can keep up with those young pups. I try, and I'm older than all of you.
That's good. That's good, you guys. Anything else to add to that, Gabrielle?
We talked a little bit about the removing the dates on education is something that
Yeah.
can be easy enough to guess at somebody's age. And yeah, I think
And you don't need to tell your whole career story with dates. Go back your 15, maybe 20 years on your resume, but after that you can say prior experience.
Yeah.
Or other experience. You don't need to put dates on anything earlier.
And don't call yourself seasoned. That's a dead giveaway.
Or retired, military, things like that. Leave that off.
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as content, when it comes to featuring skill sets, a skill like such as AI, we know many companies now are requiring some ability to use AI tools. I'm hearing numbers up to like 60%, 70% of job descriptions are even saying must know something about AI. I don't know if it's that high, but it is an essential skill. To talk about the age thing. I remember way back in the day when I was at Intel and they said, we're going to start using Microsoft Outlook to schedule meetings. And the admin team, which I was on at the time, were like, it's going to take our jobs. Okay. And I was going, yay, you know how much easier it is now just to look at your calendars and see if I can schedule a meeting? I feel like we're in a version of that. So people are freaking out. We're losing jobs. AI's taking over. The robots are going to be everywhere. No one's going to be able to work. So, in my opinion, it's about adapting to technology in the workforce. And so AI is part of that. It's a big, huge, gigantic part of that. So, can you guys talk about just how do we incorporate the AI knowledge into our resumes, even if we're kind of entry level, we're just learning it? Talk about that, please.
Mm,
Well, I
go.
want to know how you used AI, because a lot of companies
Yeah.
are now working an AI application into their workflows. So if that's the case, that's the easiest place to bring AI into your resume and demonstrate that you've used it in a working capacity. So think about what you do at work.
And that it created more efficiency and made you more productive because you're using it.
And how many man hours it saved?
Yeah,
Woman hours,
yeah, you've
people
got
hours.
the numbers, use them. Yep.
And even if you are struggling with adapting to AI use, maybe do like a LinkedIn learning course or something, and you can put that on your resume that shows you're approaching it and trying
That's
to
a good one.
like you're working on building it into your life and work.
Yeah, so everyone in the audience, open your chat and drop in any AI tools you're currently using. I'd love to just see some people respond to different AI tools that you're using. And it's interesting enough, AI is definitely mainstream now, but AI has been in our workflows, in our companies for many years. We just didn't realize it. Applicant tracking software, it has AI built into it through the matching process. And so it was, not as wonderful as it is now when it comes to regular work using it. And so we're not going to get away from it. We can't say, sorry, I don't do that. If you're going to be in the workforce, it's something you need to know. So look at these. Great, you guys. These are some really good examples of what to do. So if you're scared of AI in any capacity and you just don't want to do it, all you have to do is 2 steps. Go to Google and type in ChatGPT or type in Claude or Copilot or Gemini or Perplexity. Type it in and then just ask it a question. That's literally how you start. It is not a scary, hard thing. Now you can get more in depth and learn and learn and learn, but just try it out, because the last thing you want to do is go into an interview being scared of an AI conversation. So awesome. All right, I'm going to ask a couple quick questions, you guys. These are just give me a yes or no. Your resume must be 1 page.
No.
No.
Okay. You need a different resume for every job.
Ish.
Ish. Yeah, that depends. Yep.
Let's see. If you have a creative resume with pictures and graphs, that's a good thing.
No.
No.
Ish.
If you
The market's veering away from that.
Okay, we'll come back. We'll circle back to that, Krista. If you have a gap in your employment, you're done.
No.
No.
Okay, thank you for doing that. So a lot of myths that come out, but let's circle back to the creative or designed resume question. Krista, you said the market's coming back. Tell us more about that.
The recruiters that I've spoken to don't like graphics on resumes. Even though I think they're super fun to design, it's not what the market is looking at or wants right now. That's what I'm seeing. So a lot of the clients that I'm seeing are asking for very plain, which kills me, very plain documents. I know. Maybe 1, 2 colors max, not bright, very muted. I think it has to do with the whole beige aesthetic that's popular right now. So I'm seeing a lot of requests for beige on resumes. Yeah, true story.
Yeah.
Definitely no gray black. It's all beige. It's all shades of brown.
But
Yeah.
but if you're applying for a very creative role, you might have a second version of the resume that you would take with you if it was an in-person interview, or even a Zoom interview where you could share the resume on the screen while you're being interviewed and to show what you're capable of doing. But you've got to be careful. And apparently, some of the programs like Canva have some back code or something that if you copy and paste, it messes things up. So you've got to be
the
careful.
resume.
Yeah.
Probably when it's going into the applicant tracking software.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So just be careful. That's all.
Never use Canva. Ever.
Oh,
No.
talk
Never.
more about that.
Well, when you use Canva, it's essentially like a image. So the ATS can't read the words
Right.
because it's a full image. So it's essentially like using a text box or graphic, and the ATS can't extract anything and put your information anywhere. If when you apply for a job, the application doesn't auto-populate anything from your resume, that's your clue that you need to change the format.
Oh, that's so good. So you guys, just to clarify, when you submit your resume, when you apply for a job, it goes into an ATS, and that ATS will take your resume, parse it, like Gabriel was talking about earlier, and drop in like your education, your experience, your contact information. That's typical. If it doesn't do that and you have to go back and refill in all that content, Krista is saying your resume is probably an image, or the formatting's off because you pulled it from maybe a Canva or a Word template that wasn't really a good one, but something is wrong with your resume. Is that what you're saying, Krista?
Yes, because if it has
Okay.
problems extracting and putting into the stupid boxes what belongs in the stupid boxes, you have a problem.
That's so good. Thank you. Cover letters. What are your thoughts in 2026?
No.
I have always hated cover letters as a recruiter. I would never ever read them if I didn't
Nope.
have to. I do for my clients do cover letter and resume because I feel like it doesn't hurt. I've never heard of anybody not being hired because they submit a cover letter.
However, it's how you do it. And if you're applying
Yeah.
online and there's no window for you to copy and paste a cover letter into, then chances are they don't want one. If you're emailing the resume, don't connect the cover letter or don't put the cover letter within the same document as the resume, because that'll mess things up. And don't submit it separately as another attachment, because then it'll never get read anyway. Nobody's going to ever open it. But if you're emailing the resume and you want to copy and paste a good short, to the point, targeted missive of why they should read your resume and why you're qualified for the job into the email, that's lovely.
Yeah, so good. Thank you for that, you guys. All right, let's talk about tailoring your resume. So if someone is applying to a whole bunch of jobs every week, they're actively in job search. When I asked you earlier, how do I update my resume for every job? You all were like, ish. And so can
Now,
you
you said, do I have to have a different resume for
right.
every job? That's
Okay,
why
that
we
was what
said
I
ish.
said. So ish. So explain the ish around, do you need to update your resume for when you apply for jobs?
Yes, you do have to update your resume when you apply for jobs. So if you're a project engineer, you have one resume for project engineer. And that's the one, that's the foundation that you modify. If you then apply for, an administrative job, that's a second resume, a completely different thing that then you modify for that sort of job. So one foundation that you then modify. April in the chat, her husband, I assume she's okay with this story because she tells everybody. Her husband lost his job several months ago. He sent out 5 resumes a week, maybe, which we all know is not a ton. His job search, and he really tailored them to the application, to the job description. His job search was only 2.5 months in this job market. It works.
Real quick before people freak out, tell us about what is the number of typically, like, tell us how long people are going to be unemployed, possibly. Do you know those numbers?
2 to 12 months.
All over.
So,
Yeah, it's a big gap.
sorry, go ahead, Gabriel.
It's a wide range.
Yeah.
The industry makes a difference.
Mm-hmm. Does the salary make a difference? How much money you make?
No, I don't think that's it.
Okay.
But like healthcare is, they can't get enough people in healthcare, for instance.
Okay. Good point. Yeah.
You know,
I used to hear like you would, if you made 100,000, it was going to be like about 10 months because it was, about 10 months.
Oh yeah, they used to say that, didn't
Yeah,
they?
that's not true anymore. Okay. Okay. So, great. Thank you for that, you guys. All right. So we hear that the recruiters scan your resumes, right? You get maybe 10 seconds if you're lucky. You get to get eyeballs. So what are they looking for? What are the big things that they're looking for right away?
A match to the job they're hiring for.
And where do they see that?
Right at the top.
Ideally, right at the top. It's your job with writing your resume is to make it as easy for your reader as possible. So that means not making them guess or jump to conclusions, just telling them exactly what they need to know about you in order to and inspire them to call you for more information.
It's good. And so years ago, it used to be when someone was changing careers or trying to maybe hide a gap or something, they would do what was called a functional resume. Those may still be a thing. Some people may still use them. No. Okay. And so we're talking about your format of your resume needs to have, if you have that overview profile section, but then you need to have your work experience right away so they can say, is this a match?
No. The
Or
work.
or education. If you're a new grad, you could put education at the top, but you want to show the most interesting, the most direct qualifications and exciting factors about you as a candidate right at the top as soon as
Here's
possible.
what I can do for you. Here's what I have to offer. And then prove it.
Let me ask a little bit more about format real quick. People, when we ask the question around format, this is really interesting. A lot of people are very interested in this, and it's the details. What size font should we be using?
10 to 11.
And I still use Calibri more than any other. How about you, Krista?
I've started using Aptos because I
Yeah,
think it's
because that
pretty.
seems to be the default in Microsoft Word now, isn't it?
Yes, yes. So I
But you
either use
can't get as
Calibri or
much on one
Aptos.
page with that one.
But you can shrink it a little bit and it's still readable.
Okay.
So 9.5 with Aptos is still readable, whereas 9.5 with Calibri, I think, is a
Yeah, done. No, it's way too
done.
small.
Yeah.
Stay away from serif fonts like Times New Roman, and I think
Unless you're an attorney.
Pardon? Oh, all right. Yeah, all right then.
Unless you're an attorney, then you have to do Times New Roman because that is the default font of most courts in America.
It's good.
Good to know.
Okay. And I like, Donna, you're like, anything with feet is a no.
Yeah, I don't like feet.
No little feet.
My
Okay.
dog likes feet. He likes to lick my feet.
Not on your
Not the
resume.
same thing, huh? It's not the same.
What about what should be at the top?
Name and contact information.
And what's contact information?
One phone number.
One phone number, email address, LinkedIn URL, city and state.
Email address. Be careful. You
Did I
want
say
it
that?
to be your name in there somewhere. You don't want to be Sexy Fox 25. And people do that. Or your last business. You know, if you have your own business, you don't want to put your business, use your business email. Or your last company's email that you've been using. Make sure that your name is in your email. Open a new email account just for the job search, and it'll make it easier for you too, because then it won't get mixed up with all the spam and the ads and the things that you get. So.
And as we're running out of email addresses in the US, you can put, if you have any credentials after your name. So I would put Krista.Morris, CARW, or PMP, or MBA. So you can use your degrees to maybe capture your name and set yourself apart a little bit in your email.
Yeah.
And talk about what email provider is best.
Not Yahoo, not AOL.
Yeah.
Not Yahoo and not AOL.
Or MSN, I heard too, wasn't
Yeah,
particularly good.
So Gmail.
Yeah, that's a safe one. Just stick with that. Or Outlook, I suppose
iCloud.
is okay.
I was helping
Or
a
iCloud.
young girl who was 17, and she was trying to get a job, and she's like, hey, my email address, and it was an AOL email address. And I was like, maybe it works for her. She's so young. She was trying to find a job that they would respect her from a maturity standpoint. I'm like, maybe that works for her.
Rules were made to be broken.
Yes. Okay, so next I want to talk about sometimes we have gaps, or sometimes, especially career changers, are moving from one industry to another. So, what about can we put on our resume freelance projects, side gigs, volunteer experience? Like, what about all that?
It all belongs. And
If it's relevant, Krista, if it's relevant.
if there's a gap, the elephant in the room,
just for a gap. I'm sorry.
right?
You're right.
If there's a gap, that is the biggest elephant in the room, waving red flags, in every corner. So we have to eliminate the elephant in the room. We have to make it clear that you were doing something. I don't think most employers don't care what it was you were doing. It can be volunteering. It can be raising kids. In my case, I was raising a sick kid. It just has to be something so that they are clear that you weren't, a miscreant and eating bonbons.
Or in jail.
Yeah.
But
Good.
don't over talk it. Just one line is just fine a lot of times, unless you really did something significant, like it was a project that you had a positive outcome. But if you're caring for a family member, that's all you have to say.
Yeah. That's good. And some people will pick up volunteer gigs that are really worthy and doing great stuff, and if it applies, especially if it connects to the jobs you're going after, use that.
That's what I was getting at before. I didn't realize we were talking about gaps. I just meant, stuffing the resume with because some people have 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And if they're applying for administrative assistant position, I don't need to know that they're selling popcorn at the Diamondback games.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, it's part of your employment history, but you don't need to talk about it. Unless maybe you were promoted to supervisor. I don't know. There's probably times when it could be appropriate.
Okay, so in just a moment, we're going to wrap up and we're going to go into LinkedIn stuff. But I want each of you to just popcorn around real quick. Speaking of popcorn around real quick and tell me maybe something we haven't talked about yet, but like, what is a red flag that you see? Or tell us, something that you saw on a resume that you were just like, what is going on here? So,
got to think about that one.
All right, who'd like to start?
The craziest resume I ever saw was one big block of text from top to bottom.
Oh, she froze. Gabrielle, let's jump over to you.
Well, she got me thinking about visuals, and I've seen where there'll be text going down, but it's all aligned so that the longest sentence is at the top, and then they get shorter and shorter and shorter as it goes down, and that just boggles my mind. Do not do that. It's not easy to read. It's not meaningful. It's just weird.
How about too many bullets? Only 5 bullets, people, for any one job experience. If it was a bigger job where you had myriad responsibilities, then maybe separate it into categories and an accomplishment for each one of those, and list what the skill set maybe was that you used. But no more than 5 bullets in a row, ever.
I love that. And what we'll see sometimes on resumes is all the bullets, and those same bullets are duplicated under the next.
Oh my God, yes.
And you're like, what is happening?
But that goes back to, it's not about the duties, it's about what you accomplished and contributed.
That's right.
That's also where the context comes in handy, because that's how you make it different. The 2 roles were different. You have to tell people how and why.
Yep.
That's right. That's good. Krista, we missed yours. So go ahead on like a red flag or a big issue you've seen.
It was the one big block of text from top to bottom.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That makes me absolutely, I've seen it multiple times. Like, it's one big long text, like no punctuation, no capitals. And that's completely unreadable. Gabrielle's going like this. And I really hate to see the bullets start with the same words. In this age of AI, there is no reason for us to not use all the words.
Yes. Yep. That's so good. All right, ladies, we are going to jump over to LinkedIn. And so people, all the attendees, what I want you to do right now is I want you to grab your LinkedIn URL and drop it in the chat. And that is because we're virtual, I want us to all be able to connect with each other. Now, I know there are some limitations on how many people you can connect with a day, but I am dropping in the instructions in the chat on how to do that. If you do not know how to grab your LinkedIn URL, and then you can drop it in the chat and we can connect with each other. So, ladies, LinkedIn and resumes do go hand in hand in a lot of cases. They're not exactly the same thing. So let's start there. Is LinkedIn a living resume? Or should it look different? Does it have a different purpose? Krista, I'm gonna start with you. Tell us.
So LinkedIn and the resume, they can match or they don't need to match. I think if you're applying for a job and then a recruiter goes to LinkedIn and they're seeing an exact copy of your resume, I don't think that's bad. I think you're simply missing an opportunity to show depth and personality. So I personally prefer to show additional personality. I usually write in the first person. We're talking about a piece of social media. So if you're talking in the third person about yourself, you're essentially keeping the reader at arm's length instead of drawing them in. So I prefer LinkedIn to be complementary to the resume rather than a matchy clone.
Good.
I agree.
And like you guys, we talked about for different types of jobs, you need to have different types of resumes, but your LinkedIn needs to kind of cover all of it in some capacity. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Gabrielle, sorry, I cut you off. What were you going to say?
Oh, that's fine. That I agree with what Krista said, and I like to use it kind of. You can also include some things about you that didn't make the resume cut.
Yeah.
So like a little more of your volunteer work or little extras. And I lost what I was going to say. Oh, that it's you can kind of add a little more personality into it because you can write in the first person, you can have a little more humor, and if that's who you are, it's a really safe place to authentically represent yourself as an individual, whereas there's a little bit more structure around a resume.
That's good. Donna,
As one of our LinkedIn instructors always says, your LinkedIn is a resume on steroids. So it's a place, to expand on some of the things, like you said, that you couldn't get into the resume. A good place for projects, courses that you've taken that highlight what's relevant to the new job, especially if you're transitioning to a new industry or a new field. And to use I guess you're talking more content right now, but the purpose of LinkedIn is more of a relationship engine, because you want people to engage.
Yeah, I hire a lot for nonprofits and ministry jobs, and sometimes people don't put that stuff, what their volunteer stuff is, on their resume. So I'm like, how do they have any experience? And I'll jump out to LinkedIn to see if they list maybe a church that they're volunteering at or a nonprofit or something, and I'll look at that and they have experience in this world in some capacity. So if a lot of it depends on like the jobs you're applying for. Does your LinkedIn speak to that? It's important to have it speak to that. Okay, let's talk about the headline. This has changed over the years, and so your headline, should it be the jobs you're applying for? What should that look like? The headline of LinkedIn.
I believe it should have some of the job titles that you're applying for, yes, because that's again with the resume recruiter, LinkedIn recruiter. That's one of the things that they look at, one of the places. It's what the headline, what is it, Krista? The headline,
like one or two key skills.
The top two key skills and the job titles, right?
Yes, and possibly a value proposition if you can get it into a phrase.
Yeah. But that about section, it really is important to expand. You've got 2,600 characters you can use there. Use them. and tell your story. Make it storytelling. Make it yeah. It's but you were talking headline. I'm sorry.
No,
Yes,
go ahead.
the
This one.
titles, the title, and then maybe because you've got 220 characters, you can add maybe a little bit of your value. Like you said, like she was saying, the value proposition. Yeah.
That's good.
I think the headline is like number one in
Mhm.
the algorithm, in LinkedIn's algorithm. So that's where you want to put the most relevant keywords. Because when recruiters are searching, that's what's going to come up.
Oh, that's
And
good.
not your old titles so much as the titles you're applying to.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so good. Okay, and then in the about section, so that's what we include in the headline. What do we include in the about section? Sounds like over 2,000 characters can go in there.
2,600.
2,600.
A lot.
You can do everything from
Yeah.
tell a story. You can give an overview of your career. You can hit the highlights of your achievements. It can be any structure. It can be any format. It just needs to be readable and think outside the box. I often bring in pop culture references. I have a client who really loves ducks. It doesn't really matter. Like, see, that made you laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll remember
And
that.
Yeah.
the goal
Yeah.
is to draw people in. So, however, I guess my best advice is to stop thinking about what other people do and just do you,
Yeah.
because who cares about everybody else?
I break mine up into 3 sections: who I am, what I offer, and why it matters.
That's
And
good.
then tell stories.
Is it first person or third
Yes.
person? First person.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can say I, da 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 da. You can use I in the
Yes.
in the about section. Okay, great. All right. So the photo, we know, like you must have a photo. What about that banner thing? That's at the top of LinkedIn.
Yeah, but don't stop about the photo. There's a
Go for
lot
it.
to that one because it needs to be a fairly professional photo. You don't want anybody else in the photo. You don't want to have crazy hats on or a crazy background. It needs to be a very professional picture as the background, and you need to have a background of some kind. Yes, but it's a banner, called a banner.
I think as far as the banner goes, it's a little bit like nice to have in the sense that a recruiter is not going to not contact you, double negatives, if you don't have a banner. Like that
No.
should not be their make or break decision maker. But it does present yourself. Like it shows it's your branding, your professional
Yes.
branding.
Yeah. That's great. So, but the profile photo matters when it comes to like searchability and SEO and reaching out. Is that true? It used to be one of the main things you had to have.
I don't know
Oh, to have, yes.
I don't know the answer to that, but what I can say is that if you're trying to build trust with somebody you don't know, having your face there is really critical. So I don't necessarily care if it's part of the SEO and search. What matters is that you can't gain trust if you don't have a face and eyes to connect, virtually connect.
Yeah.
And they have new verification statuses and stuff that you can go through. So I think maybe the photo doesn't have that same weight anymore.
Well, that's great. Let's talk about that. What does that mean? What verified statuses are important? What of those features are important to really do? The open to work or some of them, some of those.
My understanding is that open to work, once you put it on, you have to begin networking for you to maximize the open to work banner.
Okay.
That it plays a part, and Kitty may be able to speak to this, but the open to work banner, once you activate it, you have to be active for it to do something. And that little toggle button that goes on, you want it to work for you. So it's not just put it on and then leave. It's put it on and then network.
Yeah.
That's good. Let's talk about network because networking is I will die on the vine. Since I started this organization, networking beats everything else, in my opinion. So sorry guys. But like We use the resume as a tool. We use LinkedIn as a tool, but the relationship, the networking it's so powerful, and it can get you so much a better offer, a better job much quicker than if you're sitting behind a computer. And even if you have good tools, networking. So how do we do that on LinkedIn without being awkward? How do people reach out on LinkedIn and not make it weird? What's your thought?
Ideally, you'll find something you have in common with somebody and kind of use that as a grounding factor.
Yeah.
Or if you follow them and you want to connect, you could like engage on their posts and then start a separate DM conversation about a topic you're extra interested in. People generally love to talk about themselves. So if you have a question to ask them about their experience, I'm sure they're happy to talk about it.
So can they ask about like you're at this company and I would love some guidance. I'm applying for jobs, things like that.
That's a
I would generally say make it more about the person you're connecting with. So like, what has your experience there been? Or I heard this, what do you think kind of thing? Because then it feels less like you're asking for a favor
Yes.
right off the bat.
Okay.
And you want to make sure that it doesn't open with, I admire your work at Amazon.
Well,
Like that's literally what every AI introduction networking little snippet says for you to do. So it needs to be just like Gabrielle said.
that's good.
Be a human.
Yeah. Yes, because we are spammed to death on LinkedIn even now. I am anyway. And so they do separate it. So I think you want to get a first connection with somebody if possible so that you can have these conversations. And if you have the really strong profile and about section, then because what people often do is they'll look at you when you reach out to them and they'll look at your LinkedIn profile before they even have a respond to your message to see if you are not a scammer kind of person. You agree with that, Donna?
Yes, yes. That's what I do,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so you all have been dropping in your LinkedIn URL. Now, as we wrap this up a little bit, let's talk about one thing around LinkedIn from you guys is really important. What are your thoughts here?
The headline. It's the first thing people see. And it's the reason people click on your profile or go to the next one. So the headline has to be really dialed in. I sometimes put the value proposition after the job title. So, because the keywords, the algorithm will pull in the keywords if they're at the end. It's what makes you you that will make me want to click.
Yeah, it's good.
And I think try not to overthink commenting and posting and connecting with people. We are people on this platform. Number one, it's full of humans. So I know, like for me, when I started, it was tricky to start posting and it felt really awkward and weird. But as you get into it, you kind of get into a flow and you learn what feels comfortable to you and what people respond to. Think of them as just a massive pool of colleagues. They're all humans and we all, want to help each other and stuff if we can. And if you don't get a connection request back or something, don't take it personally. Nothing like that.
Yeah. And remember that your LinkedIn profile is your online business card. And you want it to be just as professional as you want people to see you. It's your brand. And if you don't present yourself well on LinkedIn, why would anybody take the time to interview you for a job? Yeah, that's enough said.
Yeah. So as we're getting ready to wrap up, we're going to have breakout sessions where you guys will be able to help people and have conversations about resumes. So as people leave today off of this event, what is one thing that you would recommend they do right away to make an immediate impact in their resume or on their LinkedIn profile and that is going to help them in their job search?
Rewrite your summary at the top of your resume. 100%. It needs to show industry scope and connect to the mission of the companies you're looking at, what they need, their biggest pain points. So answer those biggest pain points in the summary.
It's good. Thank you, Krista.
Very good.
Update the LinkedIn. Make sure that it's optimized. That you can have 100 skills on the in the skills section. Make sure you have at least 90 skills, or not just 5. Optimize it. Show that you're engaged.
It's good.
I think if you don't have a target yet, pick a target. If you don't know what job you're writing your resume and LinkedIn profile for, it's not going to work for
yeah.
you. Yeah.
So speak a little bit more about that, Gabrielle. So you're saying go find some job descriptions, go figure out what kinds of jobs you're interested in.
Yes, exactly. Especially if you have a varied background, like narrow it in on for one document. And like you were saying, project manager versus swim instructor or something, right? You're not going to use the same resume. So pick a target and write your document for that job.
Yeah. And in my opinion, that one of the worst things you can say to somebody that's trying to help you find a job is, I'll take anything.
Mm.
Yeah.
All of you are like, no. Why
Unfortunately.
does that not work?
This is too broad. You can't, I can't picture you doing anything if you tell me that.
Nobody's looking for a jack of all trades today. No.
That's right. And they want to hire someone that has some experience in what they are hiring for.
Yeah.
And so if you say, I'll take anything, that will never work for any of the recruiters that are looking for a specific hire. So you want to be targeted and specific on when you're applying for jobs, your resume needs to match.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, last words of guidance, you guys. I'm going to give you 1 minute each to land this. Each of these ladies will drop their information in LinkedIn. I know some of you were asking about that. So they'll make sure to do that when we're closing out. And then you can obviously talk to them in the breakout sessions. But just land the plane, guys. You have one more piece of advice, and we'll move on from there.
I'm ready.
All right.
Stop thinking of your resume as a history of your career and think more of it as a marketing tool, a strategic pitch for where you're going.
Good. Yay!
Agreed.
What else?
Go outside the box if you can. It is really okay to go outside the box. So you don't look at formats that other people use. Don't look at content that other people use. Just do you.
Good. Because they are hiring an individual, a person, not a generic person that's going to do what everyone else can do. They're hiring a unique individual. Good. All right, Gabriel.
I think try to separate resume writing as a skill in itself, because it is. Not everybody knows how to write a resume, and it's very different from the work you've been doing for years. So something I really hated about being a recruiter was that like I'm hiring a laborer and judging them based on their resume. That doesn't make sense. So like you're developing a different skill by working on your resume and working through your experience. And don't take that personally. Don't feel like you are a failure because your resume isn't working for you.
Yeah,
Can
that's
I
good.
add one more? Can I
Yes,
just
of
one
course.
more? Don't be afraid to get help, but make sure when you get help, it's somebody that is qualified to give you help.
Oh my gosh. My sister paid $1,700 for a resume in LinkedIn. My sister, right? I about lost my mind on somebody online she'd never met before. And I'm like, you didn't even call me to get a referral? Like, and they were lame. It was like basically they put it in a tool and sent it to her. And I was like, oh my gosh. So don't do that. There are so many resume farming online systems that charge you and are not getting the information from you, the relationship part, like the impact you really made. Do not do that. And if you already did, I'm so sorry. And if it's not working for you, because it is a thing, it is happening, and there's nothing we can do to control that except bring you some of the best and say, if you do need a referral, if you do want to work with somebody, that will get you through, these ladies are gold. And so thank you all for being here. Krista, Gabrielle, Donna, you are amazing. You're the best. How about a round of applause for our ladies, the virtual rounds? Yay! And so we will just close it out here in just a second, and then we will go ahead and get you guys into your breakout sessions. So thank you, ladies. So appreciate it. All right. So now we're going to close this guy out, and thank you, Kathy. All right, so if we could go on to the next slide here. We have a couple things I want to go through. If you have any feedback for us, of course, I'm watching all of all your posts on the chat and comments, but if you have any other comments, feel free to email us with your feedback. We also have a ton of resources available for you guys. You're going to get an email today after this call, and on that email will be a link to the playback of this webinar. So you can play back, hear the guidance again. And so that's available for all of our virtual events that we've done. And that's going to be on the email that you get. Also, we have a DISC assessment we encourage you to take. And the DISC assessment is, it takes about 10-15 minutes, but it'll tell you a little bit about your work style, your ideal work environment, your communication style. So that's a great tool for you guys to go ahead and use. You'll get a report. It's free. It's about a 24-page report. And also, we're on social media, and so you can connect with us this way. All three of these ladies that were on today, as well as some of the other resume writers that we have available for today, are part of the RWCA, which is the Resume Writers and Coaching Association. And this is why they know what they're talking about. They keep up their certifications. They're attached to the National Resume Writers Association, and they are here to help you. And so that's why when we do these events, we bring in the people who know what they're talking about. If you're sick, you're going to the doctor, you're going to get help by a doctor who's certified. And when you need help with a job search, we're going to bring in the people that can help you with the job search, and not people who just say they can help you, but ones who prove it. We also have Best Companies AZ on the line. I believe I saw Sydney on the call, and she is going to have a breakout room with Best Companies AZ. And this is a company, it is based in Arizona, but it serves companies nationally. They work with companies that are award-winning companies. And so here's a list of some of the companies that they work with. But what they do is they are more the PR marketing firm for these companies, and they represent them in their jobs as well. And so it's not a recruiting firm, but they work with these companies that have won these great awards, and they have on campus, but also in person and also remote work positions available. So Sydney is going to be in the breakout room, and we'll be featuring some of those companies today and some of the opportunities that they have. All right, and then here is what we have coming up. One that I don't want you all to miss is we have a unique opportunity to help with Achieve, which is a company based out of Arizona and also in California. They have on-site and remote hybrid positions available, and we're going to be doing an open house for them. So they'll have their recruiting teams there. They'll have benefits teams, member services. We'll have their talent acquisition teams. And so you can find information about that on our event schedule website. It is a virtual event, but you'll be able to hear from their director, executive level staff. We'll be doing a panel. It's similar to today, but we'll be doing a panel about their jobs and about the company and the culture. And then we'll go into breakout rooms, and you'll be able to talk one-on-one with these people. So sign up for that, and then you can actually apply for the jobs after you register for this event, and you will be marked as somebody who came through Career Connectors and marked as priority. So that's a great opportunity for you if you're looking to get connected to an award-winning company. And then on Thursday, May 14th, we're doing an interview skills event. And also we're going to talk about strengths and how you look for jobs based on your strengths. And then June 11th, we're doing a one specific on your job search superpower being LinkedIn. So you'll get the link today on your email to register for any of our upcoming events. We also have a program called Pathways if you'd like some additional assistance. And this one is a month based on a monthly program. And so we have if you want to go to the next slide, I think it shows, yep, all the modules that we have. It's an online tool and all of the modules on helping you just determine which career you want to go after, how you brand yourself. It has a whole bunch of information around the job search all the way through to negotiating a salary. And so it's done with tools and videos, and it's from our program along with some of our career coaches. And so that's pathways.org. And I think it's running at $39.99 right now a month. And so you can grab that at pathways.org. Thank you. All right. So thank you to our volunteers, everyone on this call that is supporting this program. We have Kathy. We also have Lexi was here today supporting this program on the Zoom support side. We have the coaches that are all be here. And so thank you all. Thank you for volunteering your time. And again, Donna really is the longest serving volunteer, like 15, 16 years. It's incredible what building this community has been like. So if you are interested in Career Connectors and supporting our mission, we are a nonprofit. And so we just did, let's see, Arizona Gives Day was yesterday, but it's still open if you would like to donate to the mission that we have. And of course, no pressure at all. And once you land your job, if you'd like to give back to our organization as we serve forward, that would be awesome. Thank you so much. All right, guys, we are praying for all of you that you do land into the career of your dreams. And that is an ongoing thing we do around here. And every day we hope that you are taking a step forward and that you do land that job, but don't forget about the networking piece. It's so, so important. Don't sit in your office or your home and just sit there. Go reach out to people, talk to people. What we're going to do now is we're going to go into breakout rooms. And so on your computer, they're not up yet, but on your computer, there is a section on the bottom row, and they moved it, especially if you have the newest version of Zoom. They moved to where the rooms are. And so under the More button, you'll see breakout rooms. And so for most of us, not everybody, but you'll see an icon that has breakout rooms. You're going to want to open that icon, and then you're going to be able to join the rooms. And as soon as they open, here's the list of where the rooms are, what we'll have today. But all of these room hosts will go into the rooms, and then you'll be able to pop around. You can go talk to a resume writer. You can talk to a LinkedIn expert. You can do a finance coach. You can talk to our career coaches. You can just pop around. So you'll join the breakout rooms, and let's see, they're not up yet. Kathy, you can go ahead and launch those. And then you will be able to jump around as you want. There we go. They just launched. And so if you click on the breakout room icon, you can see all the rooms that are available. You just click the blue join button, and that will take you to your breakout room. And then if you have any problems with being able to get into the rooms, you can drop it in the chat, and we can help push you out there, and you just have to accept it. All right, good. People are starting to move. You finding it, Gabrielle? Do you need me to send you there? You found it? Okay. Donna, are you finding it? Oh, you're going. Okay. Should be going. Okay. All right, so we are in the breakout session of our event. Feel free to jump into a breakout room. I see we have Pamela Heward and Valerie Middleman. Both are great career coaches in there, and so you can jump into their rooms. Gian Boldy is our finance coach today. We have LinkedIn by Kitty, April Malone and Amanda Miller, who are two of the support people on our resume for our resume event today, are both fantastic resume writers as well. And then, of course, we have Krista, Gabrielle, and Donna. They actually have some room if you're interested in talking to them. And again, the breakout icon on the bottom of your screen, or if you're on your cell phone, sometimes it's like the three dots and you got to click more to get into a breakout room. But open up your breakout room icon and then you can join and click the blue join button, and that will take you into the room. If you're having problems with that, just let us know. You can unmute yourself or you can type it in the chat and tell us where you want to go, and we'll get you there.